Get ready to tune in, turn back the dial, and rediscover the airwaves of yesteryear. This is Echoes from the Past, your backstage pass to the shows that changed everything.
You know, making history come alive for kids is one of the coolest, and honestly, trickiest, things you can do as a storyteller. It's not just about facts and dates, right? It's about taking these massive, complex events, like the Battle of Gettysburg or Antietam, and turning them into something that sparks curiosity. I mean, these were pivotal, history-shaping moments, but to a 10-year-old, it can look like just a big jumble of hard-to-follow names and places. What Civil War Chronicles does, though, is kind of magic. They don't skimp on the details, they don't throw history out the window, but they frame it in this super vivid way. For instance, you're not just told, hey, General Lee did this and General Grant did that. You're right there, on the battlefield, almost hearing the cannons or feeling the tension through the eyes of a young soldier. It's that mix of drama and detail that hooks the younger crowd while keeping it all grounded in historical truth. So this brings me back to my own childhood. I still remember this one radio drama. It was about the Civil War, too, that I kind of stumbled upon. I couldn't have been older than 8 or 9, and I didn't know anything about Civil War battles or generals back then. But I was captivated. I mean, completely. The voices, the sound effects, the way they built the story it pulled me in. And suddenly, this war that happened almost 100 years before I was even born felt real, you know? And that's the key. Civil War Chronicles does what those old radio dramas managed to do so well. It connects the past to emotions, to people, to something you can actually imagine. Like, if you've ever listened to their take on Gettysburg, there's this moment where they focus on the stories of the soldiers, some of them just kids themselves, to explain what this battle meant. You can practically feel the weight of their choices. It's powerful, but accessible at the same time. And one of the toughest balances they strike is, well, staying truthful to history. These stories have drama built into them already, but the challenge is not exaggerating or bending the facts too much. So when you listen to those episodes on Antietam, for example, it's clear they're sticking to the records. What happened, where it happened, but they're, bringing it to life without losing the truth. That's not easy, and I think they really pull it off. In Civil War Chronicles, they highlight some pretty incredible figures from history. I mean, it's not just General Grant or Lee popping up, though they're definitely there, with all that larger-than-life personality. Like, there's one episode that digs into this particular angle about Grant's leadership during the Vicksburg campaign. And honestly, you get this sense of how tactically brilliant he was, but also how human he could be. This guy was leading from the thick of it, And then there's Burnside. Poor Burnside. I feel like he always gets, kind of a bad rap, right? His name always comes up during discussions of Fredericksburg, and that's not exactly, his shining moment. But what's cool about the podcast is that they point out the complexities there. They don't just laugh it off as a failure. They talk about the pressure he was under, the tough decisions he made, and how it all went down. It's not just black and white, it's nuanced. You totally get why history isn't just a collection of wins and losses. But you know what really got me? It's how they bring the everyday soldiers into the mix. In this one episode, I think it was about Gettysburg, there was this story about a soldier who wrote letters home to his family. It's not just a quick anecdote. They dive into his thoughts, his fears. And it's not like he was famous, no statues built for him. But through his letters, you kind of feel like you know him, and you see the war in this whole new way. Big battles suddenly feel personal. Honestly, I think that's what pulls families in. Like, kids, they probably don't look at Grant or Lee the way adults do. But tell them a story about a 16-year-old soldier, or about a young drummer trying to keep up morale on the battlefield, and it clicks. It's relatable. It's human. That's gotta be why the show works so well for all ages. And let's talk about what makes a historical figure, compelling, to kids especially. It's not just what they did, it's how you frame it, the lens you use. Take someone like Clara Barton, for instance. This nurse who wasn't even on the battlefield in the same way soldiers were, but she became a hero. Why? Because her story is about courage, resilience, and compassion. Those are themes that connect, no matter how old you are. And the podcast really gets that. It's why younger listeners don't just learn history, they feel it. Let's talk about the magic of episodic storytelling, especially in a show like Civil War Chronicles. You've got this rhythm, a weekly release schedule. It's like a heartbeat almost, right? Every week there's something new to look forward to, and it kind of becomes a ritual. Listeners tune in, ready for the next dose of history brought to life. And honestly, I think that consistency is what builds that real connection with listeners. You can count on it, you know? Take, for example, the December 2024 release, which focused on the Battle of Gettysburg. That episode, it's a masterclass in pacing and storytelling. Instead of dumping all the facts and figures out at once, they layer the story. You start with this quiet tension, little moments between soldiers, and bam, the action builds. It's not overwhelming, it's immersive. You're learning without even realizing it, because the pacing pulls you in. And, dramatizations are such a game changer here. Hearing the clash of bayonets, the roar of cannon fire, it's something else entirely from just reading about it in a book. But it's not just the sound effects. It's the dialogue, too. When characters speak, you're drawn into the emotions of the moment. It's like you're in the thick of things with them. That's power, right there. But there's a line. They make it dramatic without turning it into a full-on Hollywood spectacle. That balance, it's tricky but so important. Now, here's the thing. Making history family-friendly without losing the weight of it? That's a challenge. The Civil War wasn't exactly, light material. And yet they pull it off. It's honest, but it's also accessible. You've still got the raw emotions, the stakes, but they know how to phrase it, how to frame it, so kids and parents can sit together and really engage with the story. That's where the skill comes into play. Ultimately, Civil War Chronicles keeps proving, week after week, that history isn't just academic. It's alive. It's emotional. It's relatable. Honestly, when you get storytelling this good, it's not just history you're learning. It's humanity. And that, my friends, is what makes shows like this unforgettable. On that note, thanks for tuning in today. I'll catch you next time. And until then, keep exploring the stories that shape us.
Thank you for joining us on this journey through the airwaves of the past. We hope you've enjoyed exploring the classic radio shows that shaped generations and left a lasting legacy. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode of Echoes from the Past. If you loved today's episode, don't forget to share it with fellow fans of history, storytelling, and vintage radio magic. Until next time, keep your dial set to the golden era and let the echoes of the past remind us of the timeless power of radio.